Hello students, today we are going to study Standard 8 Chemistry, Chapter number 2, Physical and Chemical Change. Change is the law of nature. In our day-to-day life, we come across various kind of changes. We can see water evaporate from the surface of the lake. We can see when we keep small amount of water in the freeze and it changes to ice. When you burn fuel such as wood or petrol, kerosene, it burns to produce a large amount of heat and light energy. In the junior classes like 6 and 7, you have already read about physical and chemical changes. Here we will read more about these changes. So let us start with the physical change. What is a physical change? So you all know very well what is a physical change. A change in which no new substance is formed. The chemical composition of the original substance is not altered. The change is temporary and reversible. These kind of changes is said to be physical change. In physical changes, certain physical properties such as color or shape may change, but there is no change in the molecular composition of the substances, or we can say there is no change in the chemical composition of the original substances. So let us read one by one about the different characteristics of physical change. Physical change is generally temporary in nature and can be reversed by changing the condition. For example, water. Water, when it is frozen, it changes to ice. Ice, again when it is heated, it changes to water back again. So this change is temporary. It can be reversed. So we can say change of water to ice and ice to water, it is as a temporary change. Okay, and hence a physical change. There is no new substance formed in case of physical change. There is no change in the mass of the substances undergoing a physical change. Neither there is any chemical change in the chemical composition of the original substances. Okay, the physical property, as I told you earlier, the physical property such as the shape, size or color of the original substance may change. Okay, it may happen that it may not change too, but if there is a change, there is a change in just the shape, size, state or color of the original substance. There is no net absorption or release of energy during the formation of during a physical change. Let us learn about some of the examples of physical change. Melting of a wax, it is a physical change. Tearing of a paper. See, tearing of a paper, though paper can be pasted again back, but when we tear the paper, it is a physical change. Why it is physical change? Because when we tear paper, there is no change in the molecular composition of the substance. There is no change in the chemical composition. When the paper was in single piece, it was whatever chemical composition it had, the same composition it is having when it is made into two pieces. So it can be said as a physical change. Breaking a piece of chalk, that's also a physical change. Stretching of a rubber band, that's also a physical change. Is that clear? Sublimation is also a kind of physical change. Let us understand by this simple experiment. Here in this diagram, you can see the evaporating dish in which camphor was taken. Camphor, you know, it is a sublime substance that directly changes from solid state to the vapor state without changing into liquid state. You can see here the Bunsen burner is kept, which is used for heating purpose. There is a wire gauge and this is the stand. Okay, camphor was taken in this dish, okay, evaporating dish, and a funnel was inverted over it. A cotton wool is plugged in the funnel. When camphor was heated, it directly changed into gaseous state. Thereby, the vapors of camphor, they get deposited in the inner linings of the funnel. After few minutes, heating is stopped. Then we take out the cotton wool and scrape out the powder camphor which got deposited in the inner linings of the funnel. In this experiment, we get back the camphor on cooling as a sublimate, isn't it? So we can say that sublimation of camphor is a physical change. Now let us study about the chemical change. So what is a chemical change? A change which is permanent in nature, in which the original substances loses its own composition and properties, and entirely a new substance with new property is formed. Okay, when you burn a piece of paper, the piece of paper when burns, it changes to carbon dioxide, water vapor, smoke, and finally ash is produced. The molecules of paper, it actually combines with oxygen, thereby forming carbon dioxide, water vapor, and then heat and light energy, isn't it? Entirely the chemical composition changes. A new substance with new property is formed. Ash which is formed after burning, it is completely different from the paper which we took originally. We cannot convert the ash again back to paper. The change is permanent. The change is irreversible. We cannot reverse it. Can you? Can you bring the ash again back to paper? No, isn't it? So we can say burning of paper is a chemical change. There are different examples regarding the chemical change. For example, digestion of food. The food that get digested is a example of chemical change. Rotting of egg, it is a chemical change. Rusting of iron, chemical change. Formation of curd, it is a chemical change. Now, let us study about the characteristics of chemical change one by one. So, as I said, in case of chemical change, entirely a new substance with new properties are formed, and the properties of the substance formed after the reaction that is completely different from the original substances. The change is permanent and irreversible. And yes, of course, energy is either absorbed or released, okay, or evolved, we can say. There is net absorption or release of energy during the chemical change. Either the energy is absorbed, okay, when the chemical change takes place with the absorption of energy, that is said to be endothermic change. And when the change takes place with the evolution of heat energy, that is said to be exothermic change. Okay, now? Children, you should learn the differences between physical change and chemical change as it is given in the page number 14. Okay, the difference is given. You can learn the difference between the physical change and the chemical change. In the next part, I'll be continuing with how the changes involve energy. Okay, how the any changes take place, it involves how it involves energy. Okay, for then, till then, goodbye.